Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about the predictions before Saturday night's main event. The show is coming up tomorrow on a multitude of the streaming services that WWE is on now, because they're on Peacock, ESPN, and you still have to get like cable to watch Raw and SmackDown. So actually, you have to get Netflix to watch Raw, you have to have cable to watch SmackDown and NXT. It's kind of weird, and you have to watch Peacock to have Saturday night's main event and the NXT pay-per-views, as well as having ESPN for all the other PLEs. It's extremely weird and it's a waste of money, so get your VPNs. But this video is going to be talking about predictions, so let's get right into it. Alright, so don't mind me if I'm looking down a lot. I have the card for the show in my pocket. Well, not in my pocket, it's in my hand right now on my other phone. So if I'm looking down a lot, it's just because I'm looking at the card and just so I can, keep it fresh in my mind. But starting off, we have Dominic Mysterio versus Pentagon versus Rusev for the Intercontinental Championship. Honestly, I feel like Dominic's going to retain in this match. I don't know what's going to happen with Rusev and Penta, but I feel like the only real option is for Dominic to keep the momentum that he has going on right now, with not only being the Intercontinental Champion, but also being the AAA Mega Champion. So I feel like it's a given that Dominic wins. It would be a refreshing thing for Pentagon or Rusev to win the belt. If Rusev were to win the belt, that would be a good way for us to get Rusev versus John Cena again, and it would be a good way to get John Cena his Grand Slam. But at the same time, I'd much rather see Dominic versus John Cena, and that be a way for John Cena to get that Grand Slam. They could always play away into Sheamus getting involved, and Sheamus also getting his shot at John Cena, and Sheamus being the one to take it off of him and possibly retiring John Cena. I don't think a lot of people will be mad at that, but that's just wishful thinking, creative thinking, something that WWE probably isn't going to do, but it is what it is. But yeah, I feel like Dominic Mysterio has all the momentum going into this match. These are both guys that he's beaten multiple times before. I get that they're both beefing with him and the Americanos and Judgment Day and all that, but I feel like we need to refresh the IC title picture a little bit, just because it's been very repetitive with people that are going against Dominic Mysterio, whether it's we bring people up from NXT, which I do feel like needs to happen, or we bring some people from AAA to challenge Dominic Mysterio as well, like when they did that for Octagon Jr. at Money in the Bank. But yeah, Dominic Mysterio for the win. I don't know what you're doing if you're picking anybody else. Next up, we have Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill for the women's, the WWE Women's Championship. Now, going into this match, Tiffany, they've made it breaking news that Tiffany has some kind of issue with her knee or whatever. Now, we don't know if this is proper injury or not, or if this is just a way for them to make storyline. Tiffany's going into the match injured, and this makes it a way to protect Tiffany to lose to Jade. I feel like Jade's going to win this match, injury or not. If Tiffany comes in wrapped up, so be it. If she doesn't, so be it. I still feel like this is a way to get Tiffany off of TV for a while. She has been champion for 300 plus days now. I think it's 302 as day as I'm recording this. So when Saturday night's main event comes in, it'll be 303. I feel like her reign, the matches haven't been bad. It's just been very repetitive in terms of who they've been feeding her. She's had Jade and Nia Jax for about 6 months of her title run, and at this point, it's just how many times are we going to give her the same people? She had Charlotte. That match wasn't as good as people thought it was going to be. And yeah, that's really all I can remember from the run. Her against Charlotte, her against Nia, and her against Jade. But that's because they just keep re-rolling it into different packages, even though it's just the same match over and over again. And then they had that triple threat match where they had the botched finish. They also had the little Jade Cargill accident where messed her face up. But now that we have Jade Cargill as a heel, this is a new match entirely, because we don't have Jade being this ultra babyface that they're trying to push to the moon and all that. They kind of realize that it's not working for her to be a babyface, and I'm glad that they transitioned her into being a heel. I feel like she's more comfortable as a heel. I feel like she does better work as a heel. Do I feel like she can still be a little bit more experienced in the ring? Yeah, but this is, from what I remember, her 4th or 5th year in the ring. It's going to take a little bit for her to get there. But I do feel like this is the time to just pull the trigger on Jade. Let the SmackDown division get something new entirely by having Jade as a heel champion. I have no idea if this is gonna lead to like Bianca Belair coming back. We don't know what the status is on her hand, if her fingers are ready to go, because once you break a finger and it's broken the way that she broke it, it is very hard to come back from that in terms of having your finger function properly without it acting up again or jamming on you. So, if we are getting not Jade, if we're getting Bianca coming back, I wouldn't put it anywhere past the Royal Rumble. I feel like she'll be back in time for WrestleMania 42 in Vegas. But if I'm gonna aim for a thing, I give her a Royal Rumble return. If we're being very wishful about it, she'll be there at Survivor Series. But I got Jade for the win. Tiffany's gonna be on the show for a little bit, either recovering from an actual injury or just taking some time off because she has been there basically every week for the last almost year. So yeah, Jade Cargill for the win. Next up, we have CM Punk versus Jey Uso versus the World Heavyweight Championship, the vacant World Heavyweight Championship at that. Seth Rollins has just recently vacated the belt due to an attack from the Vision and his actual shoulder injury that's not related to that whatsoever, but they wrote it in like that to say the attack from Bronson and Braun were the reason that he left. They had a little battle royal to see who the number one contender was going to be to face CM Punk, and CM Punk was already going to face Seth Rollins Saturday night's main event, and Jey Uso won the battle royal. In terms of the battle royal, I feel like Braun Breaker should have been in that battle royal. I don't feel like he should have won. I feel like he should have lost, obviously. Just off of what Paul Heyman said, the whole thing of you can't just be in the main event immediately, especially as a young guy. You have to wait a little bit and obviously, listen to Paul Heyman. People listen to him and it works out for him in the end. And he used CM Punk, Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, all those examples of what happens when you listen to Paul Heyman. All of them had world championship reigns. All of them were pretty dominant champions. Outside of Seth, Seth just didn't have the right thing to keep it going because the plan for the Vision, from what everyone saw it as, or at least what I saw it as, was supposed to be the future of the WWE. And it wasn't really being the future of the WWE. Seth wasn't really doing much to say that, oh yeah, cool, the future is here. He wasn't bringing anybody else new in terms of the future. I feel like a lot of people were waiting for Austin Theory to show up. Austin Theory is still injured, sadly, or Carmelo Hayes, or Oba Femi, or even Trick Williams to be in that faction, which could still possibly happen. They're still, Braun and Bronson and Heyman are still together. So, they're still together as a little team themselves while Seth is on the shelf. Seth has also confirmed that he's going to be out for the next 6 months. So that puts him around WrestleMania season, I believe. Right before WrestleMania. I'm pretty sure he'll be there probably, I don't remember what the pay-per-view is before Mania now. But he'll probably be there in between that, if my math is correct. Yeah, if my math is correct, he should be there by at the latest Elimination Chamber. So he should be good by the time Mania comes around. He'll have a spot on Mania 42 as well. But yeah, they weren't really doing much with the Vision, and they kind of had to undo everything that they said they were doing by kind of repackaging it as it was the fans' fault that Seth got hurt and all that. And now they have this thing of Becky basically putting the head out on Heyman, kind of, in a sense. But yeah, I feel like this match between Punk and Jey Uso, I don't think Jey Uso winning the belt does anything for his character right now. It doesn't do anything for his story. I do feel like sooner or later he does need the World Championship. Otherwise, this whole thing of him being the next Tribal Chief doesn't make any kind of sense because, in terms of the Tribal Chief, the title of Tribal Chief is usually synonymous with the World Championship. I mean, look at Roman, for example. Roman was Tribal Chief. He had the Undisputed Championship for 1,000+ days, Solo, when he had that little run as Tribal Chief, that was after Tribal Chief. Never mind. I take that back. But Solo, when he took that title of being Tribal Chief, he was competing in the main event scene. He competed against Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship. So, World Championships are in the picture frame. They're in the same area. They're hand in hand of being Tribal Chief. Tribal Chief, World Championship. It just makes sense. So if we're gonna have Jey be the new Tribal Chief and all that, then sooner or later they're gonna have to put the title on him. But I feel like eventually it's gonna have to come with Jey cutting off the heat, slowly transitioning into a darker, more serious role, possibly becoming a heel. And yeah, the way I feel like that's gonna go is we're gonna have Jey as Tribal Chief, Jimmy as the right hand man and Roman as the wise man. So it'll be interesting to see if that's how they play it out. If they actually want to do another probable bloodline storyline. They have the MFTs that are actually doing their own thing now. They have the GOD face paint, so that actually makes them stand out a lot more. They're not just a Temu bloodline, they're their own thing now. I'm glad for them for doing that and for sticking out. But in terms of Jey Uso and the bloodline, sooner or later he has to win the World Championship. I just don't think it's going to happen right now. I feel like the plan was always for CM Punk to get the World Championship back. I feel like he was going to beat Seth at Saturday Night's Main Event to get his get back. And then sooner or later, Braun Breaker will be the one to take it off of CM Punk. Whether it's early next year at the Royal Rumble, or we wait until Mania, or Elimination Chamber, that for a way to have Braun Breaker either walk into Mania as a champ or walk out of Mania as the world champ. I don't have an issue with it either way. I want to see Braun Breaker as world champion. I don't mind waiting for it. It just builds to the anticipation of what we already know is inevitable. But CM Punk is going to win this match, and I have no issue with it because, it's been a minute since I've actually seen a CM Punk World Championship reign in the WWE. I have no issue with it. I don't have a problem seeing him on the TV every single week because it's CM Punk. CM Punk's great on the mic. He's good in the ring. He's going to deliver regardless. But yeah, CM Punk for the win. And finally, for the Undisputed WWE Championship, we have Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre. I feel like this is another pull the trigger moment where we let Drew McIntyre take the World Championship off of Cody Rhodes. I feel like Cody Rhodes does not need the WWE Championship. I feel like he didn't need it against Cena when Cena was still world champion. I don't think that we needed that run from Cody to be the one to beat him. I feel like we could have waited a little bit and had somebody else beat him entirely. Not Brock, nothing like that. I feel like Drew could have taken it off of Cena. And we could have had Cena turn face that way. Or just not have Cena turn face at all. I've ranted about this multiple times. I'm not going to do it again to you. But in my opinion, Cena should have never turned heel. The reason that he turned heel was stupid. He turned heel at the wrong time, and there was no point for it whatsoever. But it happened. We can't do anything about it. It wasted a good amount of his dates as well, but that is neither here nor there. We got 4 more, not tomorrow. Next Saturday Night's Main Event is going to be the last one entirely in December, so we just look forward to that. But in terms of this match, I feel like Drew McIntyre needs to win this World Championship because if he does not win, what is next for Drew McIntyre? Why do we still have Cody Rhodes as World Champion? I don't feel like we're doing anything with Cody right now. I feel like Cody was the one that attacked Jacob Fatu as well, just for the fact that Cody keeps cutting Drew off right before Drew says anything about who actually did it. Drew was in the back when Cody was talking to Jacob. Cody was the last person to talk to Jacob. He talked to Jimmy as well, and Drew was in the background for that. So Drew more than likely saw what actually happened. He saw who actually did it. But again, whenever Drew tries to say it, Cody comes out, starts saying enough, basically cuts him off and starts to fight about it. So it's very suspicious on the part of Cody. I don't know how many people are picking up on that. But again, very suspicious on the part of Cody. I feel like Cody knows a bit more about it than we actually are trying to let on. But I feel like this is our way of getting a heel Cody. And if not heel Cody, heel Randy, because as you've seen, if you've seen it, Jacob's Fatu teeth were kicked out of his mouth. One, they said he was out with the mouth condition that was like due to health. That's outside of kayfabe, entirely outside of storyline. But he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. We don't know how long it's going to take for that to get healed or to get fixed or whatever. But he had teeth on the ground beside him. That's usually a sign that someone got their head punted. And we could have said that it was Randy for that. What I feel like could have happened is that it could have been Randy, and this is Cody's way of like trying to cover up, or it was Cody, and Cody punted Jacob basically to like cover himself up and make it seem like it was Randy, even though it was actually him. It's a lot of maybes in there, but I feel like this is the way that we get heel Cody, even if it is just from him protecting Randy. But Drew needs this. Drew needs this World Championship win. I feel like Drew being Undisputed Champion will shake up SmackDown a lot. It'll be refreshing, and I feel like we can get a lot of new, matches and new feuds in the main event scene. I feel like, in all reality, we could bring a couple people from NXT up to either go into the mid card and bring some of the old mid card people to the main event, or just rotate everybody around for a little bit. Or like how me and my brother were talking about it the other day, just bring back the Ruthless Aggression era to where everybody gets a shot with the title. There is so many people that are over right now with the crowd, or that people hate in terms of like drawing crowd reaction and just being good heels, that if you just pass the belt around for a little bit, see what works, see what sticks, you can just give everybody the championship in the time where guys like Cody, Roman, and Seth are gone. Basically, your top three hits right now. Like, obviously, you're going to have Punk or Jey Uso, more than likely Punk, as world champion on Raw. But on SmackDown, you can have Drew McIntyre be the undisputed champion. You can have Sami Zayn be the undisputed champion. You can have Solo Sikoa. Like, you can have all these other people be the world champion until we get like a big mainstay name back. Not saying Drew McIntyre is not a big name, mainstay name. I'm just saying, unless they have plans of Drew McIntyre having a very lengthy run with this undisputed championship and being a very dominant heel with it, which I would like to see, because Drew McIntyre is very good in the ring. Drew McIntyre is very good on the mic. I have no issue with Drew McIntyre, and I would love to see another world championship ring from him. The only thing I'm saying is that why not pass it around for a little bit? Bring that feel of anybody could win it at any time, anywhere. It doesn't matter, as long as it makes sense for that person to win it. That's all I'm saying. But that's me looking at it from a fan, and yeah, that's about all I got on that one. So Drew McIntyre for the win on that. So to go ahead and wrap it up, we have Dirty Dominic Mysterio retaining the IC Championship. We have Jade Cargill winning the WWE Women's Championship. We have CM Punk defeating Jey Uso to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. And we have Drew McIntyre defeating Cody Rhodes to become the new WWE Champion. So you can at me on that. I don't know how many of this is going to be true, how much of it is going to be accurate, but I have a pretty good idea that a lot of it is probably going to come true, because we've had a lot of championship changes over the last couple of days, at least in NXT alone, and a couple on Raw. But that's about all I got for you guys today. There might be a SmackDown recap video coming on today. If not today, it'll be tomorrow, probably in the morning or sometime before before Saturday Night's Main Event comes out. But until then, see you guys in the next video. Peace.